famous landmarks of Amsterdam. These are the 7 bridges in a row crossing the so-called Rulers Canal, the Reguliersgracht in Dutch.
We are in Rembrandtplein in Amsterdam, the city in which I live and which I very much love, for the reason that it is so multicultural, cosmopolitan, artistic, creative, lively. It's like the whole world coming into one place. Obviously this place is a meeting point of many different types of visitors and users. It is of residents who are just using this area to pass through on their way to work. We are now in a small urban park, which in the summer can be an area for a little event, which then makes it what we say also in science, glocal.
It looks like as if we are in a rural area. What are we? In the light of social and political changes, many spatial changes are occurring nowadays. Landscape is rapidly transforming, and that is exactly what social spatial analysis is focusing on. This is no longer a production landscape. This is a consumption landscape. Today, for example, a lot of people are using this quasi-rural area for skating. They claim their piece of land, but it's only for one day. So what is this place? And that is exactly what social spatial analysis is about. We are interested in the multiple meanings of space and place. We are interested in the ways people perceive space, in the ways people like or dislike place, in the ways people evaluate place.
This is one of the districts which has been topics of the research of the Social Spatial Analysis Group. It is an urban area which is revitalized because of all types of different issues which are at stake in this neighborhood. So we are here in one of the poorest areas of Amsterdam, which is characterized by those housing blocks in which a lot of people with low socioeconomic backgrounds are living. So there are a lot of ethnic minorities living in this area, and one of the issues which is at stake here is the fact that those various groups do not live together in these areas but live next to each other. So because of those different issues, various governmental organizations and non-governmental organizations try to regenerate and revitalize this neighborhood. And a public space can be a place where people meet each other, and maybe by having an attractive public space, people can meet each other more often. And maybe there's a sense of understanding.
Public perception about tourism is that it's all about buses and mass negative impact of mass tourism in terms of greater numbers affecting particular sites, particularly natural heritage and sensitive ecosystems. But we have to change that in public eye and in the public discourse, because tourism and leisure have become very important part of cultural industries. They diversify regional economies to bring them together to provide a form of income and jobs, but at the same time fostering socio-cultural processes of celebrating cultural diversity and assisting human sustainable development.
At Social Spatial Analysis, we don't describe what heritage is. We are interested in the question, who defines what is heritage? What should we protect for future generations? What landscapes should we develop? Where can we build our new cities? When I see a landscape, I think of the continuous battle between various groups in our society.
Since people use our spaces nearby their houses for everyday practices, it's a space which is very important to people. And therefore it's also important to have nice, attractive public spaces in the urban areas. In this neighborhood, for example, we see a lot of shops of different cultural backgrounds through which we can taste the different flavors, and those public spaces can stimulate maybe a better understanding of various groups in our society. What we find by doing research here is that there's a difference between the perceptions of the inhabitants of these housing blocks and the professionals. One of the differences is that the professionals want to involve the inhabitants in order to create better and more attractive public spaces. But at the other side, the inhabitants of those housing blocks, they just want to have better housing. Another question is the question of participation. If inhabitants of certain urban areas participate in planning processes, a process of redesign of public spaces, maybe you can create or you can stimulate a process of social cohesion.
So in terms of social debates and how our scientific research can contribute is in terms of empowering many potentially disempowered parts of a population, equally in the Netherlands and globally, and that's why we take our experiences to the context of many different international projects, particularly in developing countries of Africa, Asia, but also transitional countries of the Balkans and Eastern Europe. Tourism really has many different meanings and potential, so it is as a medium and a catalyst that brings all these aspects together.
When I see a landscape, I'm not only dreaming about the birds and the bee, but I'm thinking of the multiple meanings of it. Take for example an ecologist. For him, the scenery behind my back may appear as a quasi-natural area. Farmers still want to use this land as farmland. From the perspective of socio-spatial analysis, we are very much interested in the way these different claims relate to each other, in the ways these different stakeholders relate to each other, and for example, the different power mechanisms that are at stake. Who is winning? Who is losing?
For me, the most joyful things of working in Wageningen is the fact that we work with an international group of students. Our MSc programs are very international oriented. Both the students are coming from different spots over the world, as well as our teachers and faculty who teach our students the multicultural perspectives and the global perspectives on leisure tourism and environment, as well as on socio-spatial analysis.